Well, hello. So in this video, I'll get straight to the point. In this video, what I want to look at is from a demand gen, from a growth perspective. As you know, as you build up your connections in LinkedIn, it's a powerful B2B tool, as we know, especially if you're doing ads or using LinkedIn Navigator to do outreaches. But what's more interesting is if you have your own data, you can tap into your own data and you can use that for conducting very personalized, warm introductions to either their contacts, your key contacts, your first contacts or first connections, or your second connections and third connections and so forth. And you can use technology like Apollo or Clay to conduct that. So I'm going to give you a few ideas where you can use your own data to connect, to conduct your demand gen, growth, hacking, outreaches, because it's an asset now, and we're not. I believe there's an opportunity to, over the years, you're building these connections, just start to use that asset that you have. So let's dive into it. Okay, so if you go into, first I want to show you where it is. So if you go into your profile, go into settings, and in settings you have your data. See here, grab a copy, which is interesting because you have a lot of data that you can actually, I've already requested it takes about 48 hours, like you see there, and I'll show you what you get. But you can either download the whole thing, including connections, including messages that you've done. And we're going to go through a couple of these and give you some ideas where you can use, how you can use it. And also, I'm going to refer to another source that you can actually tap into to conduct your go-to-market outreaches. It's a video, which I'll show you soon as well. But well, let's go into some of this, the data sets. So here's a list of, basically you get an email and you download it, and I've just uploaded into my drive. Now, what can you do with this? So there's amazing things that you can, I think there's, you can Dormant Connections Revival. So basically you filter down to your last 2 years or whatever, depending on how big is your list, and just go out and say, we've connected a few years ago, been thinking about X, Y, Z, and then you can do your, sell into your solution or cross or what is the ask that you're trying to connect to, right? So the goal here is to position as a reconnect, and because you'll get higher reply rates than a cold one, right? So of course you can use Sales Navigator to do cold outreaches, but this is just another way. Another one is, so you're using there is your connections, right? Another one is you might like to do is around, let me just, most of these connections, most of this, use your connections folder, so your data set, so this one here. So if I go into here and I open it up here, you get a lot of you got the whole connections, like I got over 3,000. But you can see here, you can see here, this is enough for you to do Clay enrichment to get the email address, because you've got the company and you've got their position, so it's enough for that to happen. But you can notice also, you can see here the note here that when you're exporting, only emails will appear. That's why you have to do enrichment, is the ones that have allowed your connection. As you can see, some of these ones have allowed and others not. So that's where you probably want to do an enrichment, either Clay or using Apollo, depending on. And I've noticed Apollo and Clay are pretty much getting similar now. That's interesting to see as well. So let's go back to some of the other ideas. So almost connected, you might use your, excuse me, you might use some of or your almost connections, like invitations. So if you go back here, you see invites. These are all the incoming and outgoing invites that you or you receive. So you can use that to find opportunities to reconnect. Again, what you're trying to do, either you want to get your first connections or your second connections to be warm leads. It's much more cost effective than going cold. Okay, that's the one of the place here. Another thing is, you can see here, where is it? Is messages. You can see here. Look, you got your actual messages that you've exchanged, right? This is a great opportunity for you to mine that message and see, The potential here for the prospect is you might have a conversation a couple of years ago or 6 months ago, whatever, that you can reactivate and find out. They might say, you might send a message that you 2 years ago, 1 year ago, that they start up a new startup, and then you can mine that data and say, hey, I know 2 years ago we chatted about how things are going. So again, you can use your messages, past messages, as an opportunity to connect. Another one is around endorsements. So either that you've given or received, you can again, hey, thanks very much for the endorsement that you've received. Thanks for recommending me. Do you know one or two peers that would benefit from my service? Again, you can use your connections to say, hey, it's been a while. I love to, for me, this is what I'm working on. I would love for you to give me one or two connections that you feel fit, and I'll pay a return. In return, I will do X, Y, Z. Give you some referrals. So like a reciprocal referral. Another one is in connections, and this way you need is around changing jobs. That's an opportunity. That's a big indicator. In fact, Apollo has changing jobs, so you can upload this list. Import your list in Apollo if you have Apollo. You can for $59 Australian, you can actually use Apollo for 1 month, and you can pay by the month. But you can find those who recently changed, right? So you can conduct an outreach, because they might move from a position of higher authority, and then you want to engage in that company. So you can filter again by company. And also by their title, the job description. So they might be in a much more position to engage in that. So again, a lot of information here, a lot of opportunities for you to connect with. So of course, there's your classic connections of connections, which is, I think majority of your work will be around this list here. So your connections. And here, basically, either you can use your first, enrich your first degree, ISP. So you filter by your ISP. In Apollo, you can actually set up ISPs. Where is your ISPs? Personas. You can create personas, but you can actually set up ISPs as well. And there's a setting in where you can put in your ISPs. Where is your ISPs? It's probably in the settings. I'm not promoting Apollo. I'm just explaining the opportunities in, where is it? All settings. So you go into that and you have ISP there. So you can set up your ISPs. So you can basically filter by your contacts and your ISP. So you might find that you have over 3,000 contacts, and now 30% are now of your ISP. So a great way to, again, conduct that outreach using the data sets. And if you don't have that, you might actually use Clay or Apollo to do your second degree ISPs and map that and say, hey, Jim, I noticed that you have connected to your ISP, XYZ. Would you mind giving us an introduction? Give me an introduction, right? So there's a bunch of initiatives where you can, like I said, Clay is quite easy to use. You can create a folder. So you can have different degrees of. But if you browse, you go to my export. So you input that in. You create a list, and then you do your enrichment. And we talked about a series of. Let's just go blank. Let's just log this in. Upload this in. It's kicking the import. You can do various enrichments. Another idea is, so this is a list of my contacts, and you can use Apollo. You can do an enrichment. One of the things you can do is you can conduct you can add a column, and you can use AI. You can to create your prompt, and this prompt, I'll prepare it. What I will do is, the idea is to say, of these companies, what are their business model? Okay, what is their business model? But basically, how they're selling, is a subscription, is a consulting, it's paid by whatever. And also, you want to find out is what business they're in. So there might be in Honey and Jam is a sort of an agency. You might find there's a bank there you want to engage. So you want to filter all your contacts and their business. Why? You want to do a personal outreach. So you want to learn about their contacts, what they're in a company called Remote, what companies that there's a SaaS, they use AI to, it's like a Zoom, I think. I forgot, these are heaps of contacts I have here. But what you can do is doing an outreach with that, okay? So let me just pause for a second and then I'll give you some more details about that. Okay. Okay, so what I meant, so you can see there's a list of companies here, and what you want to do is at a glance quickly see what the industry they're in, and so you can conduct outreaches to them as introductions. Remember, either first connections you want to, or second. So go into ChatGPT. I just created a quick prompt. Let's see if this would work. Right. So you're an expert, and I'm going to say generate this. So what we're trying to do is see. You can generate a prompt for me that would use, so it's scripting the prompt. Okay, let's see, because we're gonna, what we want to do is use this as best as possible. Okay, so that's the prompt. So let's just run this, save this. Okay, let's just do the first. Here we go. Okay. So it's pretty powerful these days where if you have an idea or why you want to connect with your data, you can do that. Let's go back here. First. Let me see what's going to happen here. Let me pause and just see, troubleshoot this and see what's happening here. Let me see. It's using, okay. I want to see if it does the enrichment. What I'm trying to get to, what I'm trying to do is use my LinkedIn companies to tag them to see what they are, so I can do an outreach. Just so let me work through this because sometimes you need to do a couple times to refine the prompt. Okay, so what happened? So you learn as much as I uploaded it, but I didn't put in the correct tags for the columns. So what and also I want also the URL. So this is the instructions. So basically we'll look at the first name, the company and the position and the URL. And so we want that to gain insights and position, to use AI to tag them. So let me save this and say, let's just run on the first one. Let's see if that would work, hopefully. Let me see. It's gonna, again, I need to refine the prompt again, and it should put it here, but no, let me see. Okay, let me pause and come back again. Okay, so this is why we do these videos, so we learn. So what I learned is I just had to tag it properly. So you can see here, this is what I'm looking for. So you can move here. So you can see the first one. So if I go back to here, so I want you to learn as well. So you have to ensure that you have the columns inside correctly, and then you give it an example. So there's a prompt. So I just re-tagged everything to the right columns. So that's what was missing. So I asked it to, these are the instructions. And again, you can go ChatGPT, literally in natural language, saying, hey, I'm trying to look at the company details, company name, their title, and maybe first name, surname. Can you create a prompt for me to paste into Clay so to generate a inside tag, and you can just specify the output, right? So the output will be, in this case, I just wanted tags, so I can search on them. You can see here, right? So that's what I did. I updated the row titles to make sure it's understanding each of them, and it's a common mistake. I was quickly just copy and pasting things and not really thinking about where it should look at. So you just need to help it. Anyway, point is it's updated, so you can see here that I'm tagging the right columns. Save this, and I can do. Let's just do one more too. So let me just run this one as well. Okay, turning. So as you can see here now, it's saying that this company is it's a B2B SaaS communications. Perfect. But now what I have, I can use this to do a couple of things. I can use the insights here to customize my outreach. If I have use cases, I can say, hey, we've done some work on human resources company. Um, um, and this is a case study that is most applicable for that person, so you can write it into the content. So when you're conducting outreaches, you say you're using insights from their current company and title if you wanted to do that, right? So here's another one, personal training. So you can, if you had a use case or you're selling into a video company or consulting company or market research or design company, you can use that. You can say, hey, I work with a few design companies in the SaaS area. And this is a platform strategy platform. You can use the insights here to tailor the messages or use cases that you might have in your outreach. So again, none of these are warm leads, but you're actually personalizing to the next level. So you can personalize it to the individual. You can personalize to their title. You can personalize to their company, and you can use use cases that you might have in your value proposition. You might have various use cases that you want to showcase and align it to the use cases that are most applicable for your target audience. So human resources, market research. So you want to find use cases that are most applicable, depending on your business, right? I don't know your business, but that's the idea, is to personalize it as much as possible. So you can say, for our telecommunications, if you have a use case, we generated 20% uplift in sales by using our technology. And this is the company that we worked with. You can use the example of a use case. Similar with cloud communications, right? You can say we worked with our cloud communications companies XYZ. We helped them achieve XYZ in terms of revenue or uplift. Would you be interested in exploring this further and see how we use this technology, our technology, for it? So now, last thing I want to show. So there's a bunch of ideas that we went through, right? So in terms of and using your LinkedIn data, so dormant connections, almost connections, you're mining your own messages. You can use your referrals that you've given or received to do outreaches, your connections, your first connections, second. You can do in Clay, you can look at connections as well, right? You can also look at what's a good idea is you may do it every quarter. Download that and find out if you saw an uplift in titles. So you can say, for every quarter, my network saw a 25% uplift in titles that use AI. Again, maybe you're a business where you're looking to target AI companies with a value proposition, and you can say, hey, and people who are starting to follow you, you notice that, hey, you notice in the insights of your own data that 25% of your contacts are now have titles AI in it. So interesting, right? You can use let's call it network pulse report. And so you can build your own following of people that are interested in understanding the changes in your own network. So you can educate others about, hey, how your network is changing in terms of roles. So really powerful stuff. The last one that I want to show you, and this is a credit to, and again, it's a referral, and I'll put this in the show links in the notes. If you don't, Clay, subscribe to Claymation, it's a newsletter. And what I liked, this is a credit to Harshil, sorry if I'm butchering that name. He created a interesting outreach, B2B. So we talked about a few already, right? But this caught my eye. And what I liked about this is he's using a company called Scribeless, right? To create handwritten notes. So you can use that. So I'm going to credit this to his video. So I'm going to go to his video. Let me find his video. That's me. Let me find, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to play a couple of this so you get a feel for it, so you got to feel, again, you can just, I'm not subscribed to any of these tool, but I thought it was a great idea to use it, because let's face it, we're getting a lot of digital stimulation, right? Getting direct mail is probably you'll get much more cut through in engagement. So in this case here, he is uploaded, it is in Clay. You can see here, and you can see that it is written in Clay a customized message. This message, and you can see this is the message, right? So he wants to start with impressive to see, right? That's why he wants that message to appear in that. And so that's the output, right? It's got his address details. Now it's gone into the system called Scribeless, right? And he selected direct mail. In this case, this is the email that he sends. Now here, where you customize from Clay the message that you want to put in. And here, it's a custom message 1 or custom, depending how many you want to go, right? So he's cleared it, add that custom message, and it will appear here, the message that you've generated in Clay, which is pretty cool, right? So now you've got a customized handwritten, so you can create your handwritten notes. So it becomes, and according to so Scribeless is you can't tell, which we'll go for an example. So he just talks about the technical aspects of what you need to do. So I'm going to put this in the show notes so you can see here. So what he does, he runs it. Again, I'll show you. He runs it using Scribeless. And you see that's the URL, that's the endpoints that you need, so you can feed into each other. And when you go a little bit forward, so here this gives you an example of missing postcode. And so in this case, it's missing, and that's why it generate the result. But these 3 here, it did generate a result, which is good, because again, it's learning errors is just as important, because it's not always going to be perfect. And that's why I don't try to edit my videos, so you can see what's happening. So here's a result, and basically you can export this out. You can post that out to your contacts, right? So very personalized. Let me stop there. I'm going to put this in the show notes as well. So this is the solutions. Here's an example. So you can go into their website. Let me see, where is the website? Where are we? These are the instructions, and let me just go into, where is it? Let me search for it. I saw it, 1 second. Where are we? Oh, here. Oh my god. Okay, so this is the tool, and it's you can direct mail out, handwritten. So apparently that this is interesting, right? With the technology that automates handwritten at scale, because we deserve. Since apparently they get really good. You deserve. I don't know. It's more ad. But apparently, what they're saying that it's so real life. That the actual handwritten, you can't tell, and it's got good use cases. This is why I'm talking about use cases, right? You can, if this was a company that can use outreaches to, if I was to go back to the Clay, looking at these personalizing outreaches, hey, how about handwritten? So you handwritten it for this human resource company, right? Say, hey, talent is really hard. I'm very impressed in terms of your company reach. In terms of B2B servicing, you can actually have a handwritten message to an outreach and introduce your solution that way, get that cut through. Okay, so next a bunch of ideas. I'll share some of these links into the show notes, so you can go through and explore that. So there was a bunch of ideas in terms of how you can leverage your LinkedIn data to conduct outreaches, warm outreaches, or even your first degree or secondary degree outreaches. You can use Apollo to conduct that, or if you don't have Apollo, you can also use Clay to personalize and to enrich. So to enrich, to get insights and personalized outreaches. And we talked about a couple of examples, including Scribeless as an example where you can do physical, not just digital outreaches. All right, guys. Well, that was a lot, and thank you for bearing with me. Subscribe again if you like this video. I'll be coming up with other, as always, because I use it myself, so I want to make sure that you guys use it as much as possible as well. Okay, guys.